The alien sergeant's claw snapped an inch from the human cadet's nose. "You flinch like a grazing herbivore," he spat. Cadet Marlowe smiled, sipped his coffee, and replied, "Well now, Sergeant, you might want to count your fingers while you still got him." The air inside Bay 7 of the Galactic Officer Training Academy stank of ozone, overused power cores, and alien sweat. The massive combat chamber buzzed with artificial gravity fluctuations, and a dozen species stood in neat military rows. In the middle, hulking over all of them, Sergeant Krax paced like a predator who thought he still ruled the food chain. He stopped in front of the human cadet. "You," Krax snarled, his lipless mouth curling into something like a smile. "Species: Homo sapiens. Subclass: caffeine-addicted meatbag." Cadet Alex Marlowe didn't blink. He adjusted his sleeves and gave the sergeant a friendly nod. "Yes, sir." Tex Marlowe, Earth Sector 9, coffee drinker, barbecue enthusiast, and at your service. The other cadets snickered. Krax didn't. "You flinch like a grazing herbivore." "Well now, Sergeant," Alex replied, sipping from the stainless steel mug in his hand, "you might want to count your fingers while you still got him." The chamber went silent. "Is that a threat, Meat?" "No, sir," Alex said cheerfully. "Just a warm-blooded observation." Krax's eye ridges lowered. He stomped forward until his massive clawed hand hovered inches from Alex's nose. "Reaction drills," Krax barked. "You move late, you die. You hesitate, you die. You twitch wrong, you die. Let's see if Earth's slow-witted sons can learn that." The sergeant stepped back and raised his claw high. "Reflex drill. Strike and evade. Everyone, pair off." Alex gave a casual salute and strolled toward a padded mat. Turvac, a young, six-limbed cadet from the SHYR race, approached hesitantly. "You want me as your partner?" he asked, his chittering voice laced with fear. "Sure do. I'm told I'm very breakable," Alex said with a grin. "But don't worry. I'm also unusually lucky." Turvac sighed. "That's not comforting." 5 minutes later. The drill was simple. One cadet attacked. The other dodged. Over and over. The goal: react before impact. Most pairs flailed. The Andari were too slow. The Crixin moved too fast. The Shurans, with their multiple arms, couldn't focus their strikes. But everyone noticed one pair drawing attention. Turvac swung. Alex dipped. Another swipe. Alex leaned. Back. Sidestep. Roll. He didn't just dodge, he danced. Sergeant Krax narrowed his eyes. "Human." Alex froze mid-duck, still smiling. "Yes, Sergeant." "You think this is a game?" "No, sir. I think it's more like a poorly coordinated mosh pit, but with less music." Krax growled and turned to the others. "We're demonstrating. Everyone, back. Human, with me." Alex set his mug on the edge of the mat. "Wouldn't dream of missing it." The alien cadet stepped back, whispering in clicks, hums, and whines. A human going up against a Drexorian drillmaster was somewhere between insanity and ritual suicide. Krax raised both hands. "You may strike first. For fairness." "How kind," Alex said, stretching slowly. "Y'all always this polite before executions?" The sergeant didn't laugh. Alex stepped forward, hands loose, eyes lazy. Krax lunged. His massive arm shot out in a sweeping arc. Too wide, too slow. Alex moved like falling water. He spun under the swing, twisted his body behind Krax's arm, and with one precise, practiced movement, snap, two of the sergeant's fingers dislocated and folded backward with a sickening pop. Krax roared, recoiling in disbelief. He stared at his mangled claws. "What did you—" Alex stepped back calmly, brushing imaginary dust from his shirt. "Oh dear. Did you need those for something?" Gasps rippled through the cadets. Cracks growled and lunged again, but this time, he hesitated. Alex didn't move. He didn't have to. The sergeant backed down first. Enough, barked Lieutenant Zill, a wiry, green-skinned officer with a permanent sneer. Everyone back in formation. Alex retrieved his mug and walked off the mat. Turvac was staring. What just happened? Alex shrugged. Lucky twitch. Later that day, mess hall. Alien cadets clustered around tables, whispering and occasionally glancing at the lone human sipping black coffee like it was sacred fuel. Zill approached slowly, hands folded behind his back. Cadet Marlowe, he said. A word. Alex turned, casual. Certainly, Lieutenant. You want a refill? Coffee's a bit strong, but it'll wake your ancestors. Zill ignored the offer. You moved faster than any species we've charted. That isn't luck. Alex chuckled. Well, sir, Earth's got plenty of things that want to kill you by breakfast. We evolve quick or we don't evolve at all. Zill leaned in. You're not here to train. You're here to observe. Alex sipped his mug. Sir, I'm just a humble student of galactic diplomacy and hand-to-hand etiquette. Zill's eyes narrowed. You're dangerous. Sir, I'm charming. He left the table without another word, leaving Zill frozen in place. That night. Observation deck. Rectac, the quietest of the alien cadets, watched stars drift beyond the viewports. Alex walked in and stood beside him. You're not like the others, Rectac said. Alex smiled without turning. Because I win? No. Because you lose on purpose. Alex's expression didn't change. That would be unethical. Rectac looked at him carefully. They're not afraid of your strength. They're afraid of what else you're not showing. Alex turned, tipping his mug toward him. Rec, let me give you one piece of advice. Go on. Never underestimate a human. Especially one who's smiling. Rectac tilted his head. Why? Because you'll never see the second one coming. The medbay lights flickered faintly over Sergeant Crax's unconscious body, still sedated and strapped to a reinforced slab. His bandaged hand twitched involuntarily, two of his fingers replaced with a growing cast of synth bone and regrowth gel. Lieutenant Zill watched through the glass, arms folded tightly behind his back. That shouldn't have been possible, he muttered. Not from a species without claws. Bones are bones, replied the medic, a violet-skinned Idarii. Twist them just right, even a feather can snap a femur. Zill said nothing. His gaze drifted to the combat recording paused on the holodisplay. Frame by frame, he watched Marlowe's movement. Fluid, relaxed, too precise. There was no aggression. Just pure control. And that was the problem. Elsewhere. Training Simulation 6A. Okay, quick question, Alex said, raising a hand mid-simulation. How exactly are we supposed to dodge a multi-vector plasma whip while standing on a rotating zero-grav disk? The simulation drone paused, mid-lash. Rectac gave a low hum of amusement. Adaptability test. Oh. Neat, Alex said, tapping the metal platform with his boot. Y'all got a song I can hum to keep my balance, or is that an optional upgrade? Without warning, the drone struck. The whip coiled toward Alex's torso at bone-cracking speed. He ducked. Half-step, pivot, twist. The whip passed through empty air. Again. 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 The other cadets were already nursing bruises, tangled in grav harnesses or slumped against walls. Alex didn't sweat. He didn't panic. He just flowed. Watching from the control deck. Lieutenant Zill stood beside two analysts. Pull his Earth file, he ordered. One analyst hesitated. Sir, most of it's redacted. Unredact it. The analyst tapped the console, and the holoscreen adjusted. File. Marlowe. Alexander J. Citizen designation. Terran. Prior assignment. Redacted. Operations class. Redacted. Terran training. Redacted. Zill's jaw tightened. Who gave clearance for a classified operator to be inserted into my cadet program? No one answered. Back in the simulation room. As the test concluded, the floor solidified and lights dimmed. A bruised cadet mumbled, "I thought humans were supposed to be slow." Alex offered him a hand up. "I am. You should see me before my second cup of coffee." Turvac limped over, awe still glued to his expression. How did you track the whip's path?" "It was moving faster than sight." "I didn't track it," Alex said, wiping his hands on his jumpsuit. "I guessed." "You guessed right enough, didn't I?" Turvac blinked, overwhelmed. Rektak approached quietly. "That's not guesswork. That's battlefield anticipation. You've fought before." Alex tilted his head. "We've all fought, Rek. Some of us just prefer to do it with style." That night, officer lounge. Alex sat alone in a corner booth, boot up on a table leg, a new mug of something steaming beside him. He swirled the contents, eyes distant. Lieutenant Zill entered with slow, deliberate steps. "Cadet Marlowe." Alex looked up. "Evening, Lieutenant. Join me for a cup? It's decaf. I swear." Zill ignored the offer. "Let's talk. Candidly." "Well, I was just about to start my evening brooding session, but sure." Zill sat, folding his hands. "You didn't join this academy to learn." "No, sir, I joined for the buffet. Galactic cuisine's hard to beat." Zill didn't flinch. "You're here on a reconnaissance assignment." Alex raised a brow. "That a question or an accusation?" Zill leaned in, voice low. "You're not a cadet. You're a scalpel." Alex's tone remained calm, but the smile faded a notch. "Lieutenant, I respect your concern. But if I were here for anything beyond learning how to not die in zero-grav drills, don't you think someone would have noticed by now?" Zill glared. "We have noticed. The problem is, no one can stop you." Alex sipped his drink, nodding slowly. "Then I suppose it's good I'm not the problem." The next day, Tactical Strategy Lab. Each cadet was given a battle scenario. Simulated enemy forces. Random terrain. 1 hour to create a solution. Most panicked. Some drew from textbooks. A few used brute force tactics. Alex finished in 10 minutes. He submitted a calm, clean, 3-phase ambush plan using a terrain-induced choke point and a false retreat to corral enemy units into a forced funnel. Zill reviewed the hologram personally. "Who taught you this?" he asked. Alex scratched his jaw. "A retired chess player from New Jersey." Zill slammed the console. "You weaponized retreat. That's illegal in 3 Allied systems. Guess I missed that in the syllabus." Later, private debriefing room. Zill stared across the desk at Alex, hands tightly clasped. "Why did Earth send you here?" Alex smiled, but his eyes didn't. "To see if y'all would notice." "Notice what?" "How ready you are for the real enemy." Zill blinked. "What real enemy?" Alex leaned forward, voice soft but razor-edged. "The one you don't think exists yet." Outside the debriefing room, Rektak stood quietly, having heard enough through the thin alloy walls. He looked back toward the training yard, where cadets practiced strikes with predictable, rehearsed rhythm. He understood now. The human wasn't learning. He was measuring. That night, human cadet quarters. Alex stood over his desk, inputting a code into a small, old-fashioned Terran radio transmitter. The signal blinked once, then pulsed. Message sent. Operation Stage 1 complete. Initiate Stage 2 on signal. He closed the unit and took a long sip from his mug. Oops, he whispered to himself with a grin. Did I just do that? Simulation Chamber 14 was a labyrinth. Walls shifted. Gravity surged. Lights flickered unpredictably. The Academy called it a multi-species adaptive combat maze. Most cadets called it the Blender. 32 alien cadets entered. 28 stumbled out an hour later, bruised, winded, and wide-eyed. Marlowe walked out last. Not limping, not panting. Just sipping from a cup of something suspiciously earthy and steaming. He hadn't fired a shot. The logs confirmed it. No weapons discharged. No contact injuries. And yet, he had the best score. Sir, said a junior instructor, pointing at the recording. He never engaged. Lieutenant Zill narrowed his eyes. Rewind it. The footage rewound. Alex ducked into a corridor. Waited. Triggered an artificial gas vent that caused mild disorientation. One group of cadets fled. Another got trapped in a room he locked remotely. A third ran into their own reflection and surrendered in panic. Zill fast-forwarded. Alex never struck. He made others fail. That's not combat, the instructor mumbled. Zill didn't respond. His gaze was locked on the screen. It was combat. Just a kind no one else here knew how to fight. Observation deck. Midnight. Rectac stood motionless, his thin silhouette outlined by the glow of the moon-bathed planet below. Alex approached slowly, hands in his pockets. You stayed quiet back there, Alex said. I've been listening. To what? The sound of someone rearranging the rules without asking permission. Alex chuckled. That's just called being human. Rectac's voice was low. What are you really doing here? Alex took a deep breath. Would you believe me if I said, making friends? No. Didn't think so. Rectac turned to face him. You didn't win that maze. You guided it. Yup. That's not in any known training manual. Alex shrugged. Maybe the manual's missing a few chapters. Rectac stepped forward. You were never surprised. Not once. That's 'cause I don't play games I haven't already rehearsed in my head. Rectac narrowed his eyes. That's not natural. Alex raised an eyebrow. Neither's putting a lizard in charge of hand-to-hand combat, but here we are. Admin wing. Restricted access area. Zill was tired of watching. He wanted answers. He bypassed standard clearance and keyed into the Academy's central server. Hidden beneath a dozen layers of misfiled documentation was a single encrypted Terran dispatch. Classified. Operative embedded. Observation directive active. No interference permitted. Zill stared at the blinking cursor. The words glared back at him like a warning. Operative. Not cadet. Earth had sent someone here on purpose. Someone with an objective far beyond drills and etiquette. And no one had told him. Tactical War Table. 0400 hours. The next training was unannounced. No explanation. Just a surprise simulation drop. Dozens of cadets teleported into a live battlefield sim. Explosions. Terrain shifts. Panic. This time, the threat was a rogue Terran warship, a scenario designed to test responses to unpredictable, asymmetric warfare. The instructors watched from above, smug. Let's see how Marlowe handles his own kind, they thought. 10 minutes in, half the alien squads were downed. The warship's AI fought like a vengeful ghost. Zill leaned closer to the feed. Where's Marlowe? Inside the sim. Command node. Alex had already bypassed the scenario's control systems. He wasn't fighting the warship. He was the warship. Within 5 minutes, he'd hacked the ship's logic grid. Within 10, He'd rerouted targeting protocols. By 15, the AI was ignoring alien squads and locking onto instructor nodes. In the control room, sirens screamed. "Shut it down," barked Zil. "We can't," cried the tech. "He's inside the Sim's core kernel. It thinks he's the mission designer." Zil stared, slack-jawed. Alex had turned their own test against them. Simulation over. The lights returned. Cadets dematerialized back into the chamber, dazed and confused. Alex stood in the middle, arms folded. "I think your AI needs a patch," he said dryly. Zil stormed toward him. "You hacked the test." "I won the test." "That's not protocol. I was told to be creative." Zil's hand hovered over his stun baton. His fingers twitched, then stopped. Alex's tone dropped. "Come. Even. Sir, if you're about to reach for that stick, I kindly advise you to reconsider." Zil's jaw clenched. His hand fell away. Alex gave a polite nod. "Much obliged." Later, cadet quarters. Turvak sat across from Rektak. "I don't get it," Turvak said, eyes wide. "He doesn't look dangerous." "That's the point," Rektak replied. "Do you think he's hiding something?" Rektak thought for a long moment. "He's not hiding what he can do. He's hiding what he won't do." Back in the lounge, Alex sat alone, as usual. The other cadets gave him space now, not out of dislike, but out of something far more ancient. Instinct. The kind of space you give to a tiger in a small room. He stared at the mug in his hand. Still warm. From his jacket, he pulled a slim device. Pressed a sequence. Signal received. Orbital link ready. The screen blinked once, then displayed a simple message. Awaiting activation. Phase 3 on standby. Alex smiled, eyes tired. They weren't supposed to know that move. But they did now. And it was already too late. End of Chapter 3. Word count 1000. Chapter 4 will deliver the full twist. The true human objective, the trap that's already sprung, and the moment Alex stopped smiling. Ready to proceed? The briefing chamber was packed. Rank didn't matter. Uniforms did. Officers, strategists, instructors, everyone who thought they ran the academy, were seated, back straight, eyes locked on the lone figure at the center. Alex Marlowe. Human cadet. Unarmed. Unimpressed. No podium. No presentation. Just him. And silence. Zil broke it first. "You are hereby suspended pending High Command inquiry. Hand over your comms device and all restricted credentials." Alex didn't move. Instead, he looked directly at Commander Solon, a gray-scaled Charon with 6 medals and 0 patience. "You should leave now," Alex said. Murmurs erupted. Zil stepped forward. "You don't get to give orders, Terran." "I'm not giving orders," Alex replied. "I'm giving a warning." Solon stood. "We've tolerated your insolence long enough." Alex held his gaze. "This isn't about me. It's about what's 10 minutes out from orbit and expecting you to still be pretending this is just a training facility." Silence. Then alarms. Outside. Upper orbit. A fleet shimmered into view. Not cloaked. Not hidden. Just unannounced. 4 massive Terran dreadnoughts. Markings stripped. Identifiers missing. Ghost ships. They held position. Didn't fire. Didn't transmit. Just watched. Inside the academy, panic unfolded. Control tower. Scramble order red. "What the hell is this?" Zil hissed. The communications officer turned pale. "They're not responding to hails." "Get the planetary cannons online." "They're offline." "What?" The tech turned. "They've been rerouted. Fire control nodes are dead. Zill froze. Alex's voice came through calmly from the speaker. You built this station to keep humans under surveillance. It's never had real shields. Never had real control. Rektak, watching from the side, whispered, He's been studying our infrastructure from day one. Solin growled. This is an act of war. Alex's voice dropped a pitch. Only if you try to win. Instructor lounge. Now a war room. Torvak stood frozen as a 3D hologram expanded. It showed every vent shaft, power node, weapons locker, and escape pod. All marked. All this time, he muttered. You were mapping us. Rektak nodded grimly. Not us. The system. Bridge. Terran Ghost Dreadnought, Resolute. Captain Marin stood tall, arms crossed. She watched the Academy's scrambled response, point defense systems flickering, transmission loops trying to look calm. Operative Marlowe? She asked. Signal received, came the reply. Phase 3. Standing by. Back in the briefing room. Alex stood as if the chaos outside didn't touch him. Zill stormed in, sweating. Tell them to stand down. Alex turned. Stand down from what? They haven't powered weapons. They're threatening us. No. They're reminding you. Of what? Alex stepped closer, voice low. That this academy exists because Earth allowed it. That we sent one polite, unarmed cadet, and now your fleet doesn't know where to point its guns. Solin's voice cracked. What do you want? Alex looked up at the ceiling as if he could see through it. You built this place to study humans. Test us. Control us. And when we didn't fit the model, you wrote us off as unstable. Too emotional. Too chaotic. He stepped toward the center of the room. But that chaos, that unpredictability, that's not a bug. His tone sharpened. It's the feature. Meanwhile, orbital uplink core. Without fanfare, the Academy's data stream rerouted. Files copied. Logs pulled. Command keys stolen. Every file on Terran biology, psychology, and tactics. Compressed, backed up, and siphoned to a silent archive orbiting just past the edge of the fleet sensors. It was already done before anyone noticed it had started. Briefing room continued. You thought I was here to be trained, Alex said. But Earth never sends their weapons to be polished by people who don't know how to use them. Solin's fists clenched. This was our academy. It still is. And now we know everything you know. Which, frankly, isn't much. The air crackled with restrained fury. Alex smiled slightly. And here's the best part. You can't retaliate. You can't declare war. Because that would mean admitting to the other species that you lost control. Zill stared. You used us. Alex nodded. You used us first. Hangar Bay. Departure. Cadets lined the balconies. No jeers. No insults. Just quiet stares. Some in fear. Some in awe. Alex walked toward the waiting shuttle, passing Rektak. You knew, Rektak said quietly. Alex paused. Not everything. Just enough. Rektak hesitated. Are we enemies now? Alex glanced over his shoulder. No. You've just graduated. Graduated. From pretending humans are safe. In orbit. Terran Dreadnought, Resolute. Alex stepped onto the bridge. Captain Marin gave a slow nod. Mission. Successful, he replied. They were watching us the whole time. She grinned. And now? Now they'll start watching the shadows we let them see. He looked out the viewport. The stars stretched forever. Behind him, the ship powered up, silent, deadly, and wholly unconcerned with diplomacy. Elsewhere, a message. Across the galactic net, a data packet slipped into every secure inbox of every major power. A single line. The Terran cadet was a test. You failed it.